And we are back on the music podcast, and great music says great conversation. We have an amazing artist with us today, someone I've seen live, absolutely adore her music. Danama, how are you today?
I'm doing really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well now. I want to find out about your origins, where this all started. So, can you tell me about your first ever memory of music?
First ever memory. I mean, I've always played music, like I've always done something musical. So I used to play like classical guitar. That was kind of the first probably step into music. And then sort of when I got into the typical early teens, that kind of became uncool. So I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was kind of used to music. I was kind of used to performing because we had like this little school I don't know, like music fair kind of thing. And I'd go and perform classical guitar there. So I was semi used to performing. Um but I do know the first time I ever sang in front of people, I like I'd never been so nervous in my life. Um
That's
so yeah, I mean it
talking.
I mean, it was a pretty decent crowd to be fair. There was like, I don't know, somewhere between like 40 and 50 people. For like a first time was like quite like a nerve-wracking thing. And a lot of the people in there were also my friends at school and stuff, and they hadn't heard me sing before. Um, so yeah, it was quite like a big step from going from like classical guitar to kind of performing like my own song and everything like that. Um, but yeah, all kind of started with classical guitar, really.
I feel like it's like as a creative, it's something that needs to happen, like just come out.
100%.
Obviously, you're single, men, my soul. I've got to ask this because it's an amazing song. When you have that hook, do you know straight away? Are you like, yeah, bang, that's gonna make it, that's gonna go out, or is it something that evolves that you have to keep coming back to?
I think it depends with the song. I think with Men My Soul, it was one of those moments where it just clicked.
Mm.
And I was like, that's like it's staying as it is. Like that's the chorus. Like there's no point in changing it because for me that felt like the best I could get that song to be.
Yeah.
Um with other songs, it's like I've played around with multiple different choruses until I found one that again just kind of sits right and feels like, yeah, that's like what this song is supposed to be. Um, and then with others, it's like with one that's coming up soon, I had the idea in a dream. Like I've never had that before, and I genuinely like dreamt this melody, and I woke up and I somewhere still have the voice recording on my phone, but just like voice recorded this melody in the middle of the night, and it's like the most awful thing because I'm still like asleep, but I was like I have to record it quick just so that I don't forget it.
Yeah.
And then that's now one that's gonna come out soon as well. So like it all kind of varies. But then with that one, it was different because I had the melody and then I had to build the song around that. Whereas with Men My Soul, I kind of built the song up and then was like, okay, let's now start to think about lyrics, think about melody. Yeah, so it was a bit of a different process for those two. Um,
That chorus on "In My Soul," like my friends were sat watching you play a rec fest, and I saw them the week later, and they were singing it back. I was like, I know, and they're like, yeah, that's amazing. We've been listening to it, so it's one that really definitely sticks with people,
Thank you. Yeah.
which is interesting. The new single, what can you tell us? What's allowed to come out now? What can we know?
So it's called Love Tonight. This was actually the one that I ended up like dreaming. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had this one for probably a little bit over a year. Um, I think I've had it like mastered and ready to come out for like over a year. And it was originally one that I was just like, I don't know. Like I loved it, but I also there was just part of me when I originally wrote it, it was a bit cheesy. And then I kind of went back, rewrote the lyrics to what felt right. And it was always one that I was like, I don't know, I feel nervous to release this one. Like I feel like it's a bit more I feel like saying like the traditional poppy is the wrong kind of phrase or word to use, but it does feel a bit more like poppy for me. So it felt like a slightly different route, but like I mean the amount of people that have heard it, like friends and family and like my mastering engineer and stuff, and they've been nagging me to release it. So I was like, do you know what? it's a little summer song, you know, why not? Let's just go for it. So yeah, that's the next one
Absolutely.
coming out.
And alongside with that, obviously, a headline in London in the capital.
Yeah,
I've been pushing out some people in the industry and stuff.
thank you.
How excited are you to do that? Because it's a big step for an artist, I feel like. Headline, new single, it's in the capital. It's a lot of music business happens there. So, as an artist, is that something that excites you, or you're a bit nervous for it, or a bit of both? How do you feel about that?
I think performance wise, like I just can't wait. Like I'm so excited. I think because obviously it's a headline show, it's like a lot more like kind of business based, you know, like obviously I'm the one putting it on. So there's a lot more for me to do in a sense because it is my own show. Um so there's probably a bit of nerves because it is like a headline show, but I'm just I personally feel like, and I have been told before that like my music is live music, like it is best experienced live. So to be able to perform like just over an hour set of just all my music and just give a proper live experience is really exciting for me. So yeah, to be honest, I just can't wait. I'm just really looking forward to it.
100%. I feel like nerves just mean you want to do well. If you
Exactly.
catch it
Yeah.
in the right way. Have you
Yeah.
ever watched a music performance that's completely changed your perspective on music?
Ooh, that's a good one actually. Do you know what? I feel like a lot of artists that I've gone to see, it's like I find watching music as a hard thing to do in the sense of like I can't just stand there and just listen to the music. Like I feel like I'm just always analyzing something, whether it be like the performance or like the way they're singing it or even just like effects going on, like lighting in the
So
background and
you're
things like
not
that.
a
Like
fan anymore. You're
yeah,
the
I find it so hard. And I feel like it benefits me because I feel like then I get ideas for my own music. Um, but to be honest, like any one of like my major inspirations, whenever I've seen them live, I've just been like jaw drop, you know, like it was just amazing.
who's some of those people? Who did you have posted on the wall? Who were your screensavers? Like, who are the inspirations?
I had Imagine Dragons was a big one, 21 Pilots. I haven't seen them yet, but Paramore's now a big one.
Yeah.
Um, when I first started writing like as Danama, I never ever listened to Paramore. And the first few songs came out, people kept on telling me, like, you really sound like Paramore. Like, are they like, they must be a huge influence. I was like, I think I'd heard like one of their sort of like most popular songs, you know. And I was just like, no, like I've never listened. And my drummer at the time was like, you need to like listen to them. Like you sound like you're really influenced by them. And honestly, that was like back in like, I don't know, 2019, 2020. And it was probably took me another like 2, 3 years to actually finally listen to them. And now I'm like, they're a huge inspiration. I like can't get enough. So they're one that I would love to see live.
If you were to meet Hayley Williams, obviously lead singer, you're in a lift with her. You have time for one question. What would you ask her?
Ooh, um, oh, that's a good one. The problem is I find so many little questions start popping up, you know? Um, I feel like it would either be some form of advice on, especially for like a female in the industry, on how to like progress and move forwards. Like, does she have any tips of things that she done to, you know, take those steps to get where she is now? Or I actually think I'd be really interested in like her vocal warm-ups and like how she looks after her vocals and how she hits some of those notes because her range is insane.
You know
And
what?
like,
I've
you
asked
know,
a lot of artists that question, and no one's come back with that answer of I want
yeah,
to prepare. And I feel like
mm,
when I've done shows and been backstage seeing it, that's always really interested me of
yeah,
how artists get in the zone. Are they
yeah,
in song? Is there a certain are they steaming their voice? Like what helps?
yeah,
Because when they're on there, to me, they're obviously in kind of flow state and in the zone. So I think it's a really interesting point.
yeah,
That how you analyze when you watch performances, it's definitely coming through there.
yeah, 100%.
I've got to say, you've got an incredible band with you. The energy on stage and what they do. How hard was it to get a group of artists to come together like that for Danama? Is it something you feel very lucky with, or is it something you've worked really hard on to get to that level?
Do you know what? I actually think it's a little bit of both. I think from when I first started under this name to now, I think there was a lot of hard work on the artists that or the performers that I had with me, and like the steps I essentially took to get to these artists now. I feel very, very lucky with the people I've got who are performing with me. I feel like we literally just gelled from like day one,
Yep.
which was really nice. And I do think that comes across on stage.
It massively comes across. I didn't know if that was something that was very natural, if it's something that has had a lot of hours in the rehearsal, but it did. The set was very together, very,
Thank you.
done very, very nicely. And it really, it's one of those sets where like you hooked and you can't then look. It's kind of,
Yeah, that's good.
fun.
That's good.
Like,
That's what we want.
yeah, that was really
Yeah,
amazing.
I feel like it is natural, but at the same time, obviously, we do still put in the hours for the music side of it to be solid. But then I think the fun things that end up happening, even whether it be like we change something in the set or, you know, just someone does something on stage, I feel like those parts end up happening naturally because we're so comfortable and also like we know the songs, so we can kind of play around with them as well, you know. So yeah, I definitely feel very lucky with them for sure.
No, it comes across really nicely in that live performance. So let's
Thank
talk about some of the layers now. What's the most personal song you've ever written, and was it scary to share that with the world? Because I feel like it's almost like a little personal part of you thing put out there. So
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a couple of experiences that I've had. When I was writing a song called Trigger, when I was in the studio recording it, I was listening back to a certain part and I remember I actually had to leave the room because like to anyone else, like those lyrics, you probably actually wouldn't know what they mean to me. But like when I was listening back to it, it like really hit me. So for Trigger, I remember having to leave the room and just be like, I just need to like emotionally let loose right now because like that song's really, you know, like personal. Um, but then on another level, writing the ending, that was one that I've never necessarily written a song so obvious in a way. So like the lyrics, I was saying exactly what I meant. Whereas with other songs, I normally try to kind of hide the meaning of what the lyrics are actually saying so that you know the listener might feel one thing but then it's completely different to me. But for the ending I just tried to literally just put everything out on the page and just make it as kind of obvious as I could do. So that one is, it can be very emotional live, especially like dependent on whatever stage I am in my life or whatever, it can be very emotional. But yeah, that's one that's kind of like, oh, like people know exactly what I'm saying, you know?
it is a little part of you being pushed out
Yeah,
to the world, isn't it? It's a real.
yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I'd be ready to like to share that, but it's amazing how you do that. Is there a strategy you have when you hit a creative block? If there's something where it's not coming out, is it something you continually come back to, or you just you leave it for a bit and let it naturally come to? I want to understand as an artist how you write great music.
To be honest, I think when I notice that I've got like a form of creative block, it's normally I'll like start writing a song and I'll just be like, that one just sounds a bit crap, or it's just like not what I'm feeling. And then I'll just move on. So there are certain, like, I have like hard drives just filled with songs, and some of them I can just look at the title of the song and I can hear exactly what it is. And I'm like, I just,
So have you ever gone, oh, that's not working, and then months go by and you go, oh, actually, there is something here.
sometimes, yeah. There's some songs where I'll like look at the folder and I'll be like, I know that it's just not like, it's just not right for whatever reason. It's just not hit the spot. Um, and then, yeah, there are other songs where I'm like, I mean, Lemon Juice, I released before I became like Danama, I released it under just like Rachel Harney and it was fine, but like it was just a bit meh, you know. And then that was one song that I went back to. I kind of rejigged it, got like guitars in it, guitar solos, stuff like that. And then now that's like one of my favorite songs. So there are definitely songs that I'll go back to. Um, but then I think there are certain songs where I'm just like, it's just not up to the same level to release and to kind of put out to the world, you know? Um, but yeah.
For sure. Okay. When you're playing a live set and you've got a big headline in London, what do you see in your head? Is it shapes? Is it numbers? Is it muscle memory? Is it taking you to a different place? A memory when you wrote it, like, what are you seeing in your head? Because I watched you before and in my head I'm thinking, wow, the set, the vocal, like it looks fantastic. But I want to know where your head's at when you're performing and there's people there watching.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's a really good one because I feel like when I'm performing, I don't necessarily like thinking back now, it's like, what do I think about? Like, what's going on? So I feel like next time I perform, I'm just gonna be like, what am I thinking about? But I don't know. To be honest, it can be a real mixture of things. Um, it can just be like pure excitement, like just I mean, to be fair, a lot of the times literally all you can see is lights.
You told
So
them though, are you very much aware of?
oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I think, yeah, it's almost like a little bit of a balance. You do kind of get lost in your own little world, but the own little world is the performance, if that makes sense. So you kind of, I mean, for me, I kind of just get lost in the performance. But that also includes like looking at the crowd, involving with them. So it is kind of, it's a weird one. It's like so weird to try and explain and even think about, but I don't know. I just think that I see, obviously see the crowd. I get involved with them. I think my head is just like, this is gonna be sick. Like this is gonna be a good performance. Like just the energy is there. You know, it's just a great feeling. That visually, I'm gonna have to look at that on the next gig and
I
just
don't
kind
move
of
in your headlock. Like, stop halfway and blame me for like, when you're salty up. If I was a fly on the wall during one of your recording sessions or band sessions, obviously I know you. I've seen this progress. I've seen kind of you develop over the last year. What would surprise me most about how you work?
um. This is going to sound weird. There's sometimes like a lot of when I'm recording vocals, there's sometimes a lot of weird noises and weird like for Pete's sake, like random things, you know, when you just haven't quite hit it right or I mean, you would probably get bored because especially when I record vocals, I'll do like lots of takes just so I've got like for me, like I want those vocals to be like as crisp as I can. So sometimes, it's taking like the start of one word and mixing it with the end of that same word, but on a different take, just to make sure it's like as crisp and as clean as it can be. So there's a lot of recording takes, there's a lot of food going involved. I'm so like, I'm either there is food everywhere so that I don't forget to eat, or the studio is empty of food. And I will go from like the morning to the evening with no food because I'll just like get lost. So it's either packed with food, no food, lots of random noises. If the boys are there, then there will probably be something random and weird and funny that is happening going on. It's
Chaos.
probably, yeah, it's probably chaotic to be fair. That's probably a good way to put it.
I love that though. It's really interesting to hear all that dynamic and what happens behind the scenes that people don't see. So,
Yeah.
how has social media affected the way you've connected with fans, and what's been the biggest challenge? Because obviously, seeing the TikTok grow, people have been really kind of enthusiastic about the music and excited about what they're hearing. And I know people that have seen the social bits and then go to Spotify and listen and dive deep
Yeah.
into it. But as an artist, I feel like you're a performer, you're trying to get shows, you're trying to do so, you're wearing a lot of hats. So,
Hmm.
social media specifically, how has that affected the way you've connected with fans?
I mean, I'm grateful for it because I think with things like TikTok and Instagram, it is to a certain extent quite easy to find new artists. And I know that I have found a lot of artists through those, sorry, a lot of fans through those platforms. Um, like, I mean, also it's just, it makes it so easy to like have conversations with fans. You can have DMs, you can message on the post and stuff. And I think that is really beneficial. Um, I think it's also good because you can keep those fans there, keep them engaged without being like, here's a new post, here's a random new thing, like all the time. You can just have a conversation with them. Um, but at the same time, there is still part of me that wishes we didn't have to rely on social media. Um, but obviously today, like you need to have social media to kind of help boost yourself forward. So
Everyone spends just all their time scrolling. It's just that form you're going to break through, isn't it? Reach these people.
yeah, so it is like a love-hate thing, but I've definitely seen a growth with it. So yeah, it's still good.
So, as a musician, what's the best piece of advice you've been given, and why do you think it's stuck with you?
Ooh. Um, that's a good one to think about. To be honest, I think the one of the best kind of pieces of advice, it's actually like essentially a really boring one, is when people turn around and say to you like, "Oh, you were made for this," or like, "Oh, you should really keep pushing in music," because I think especially with social media and like music is obviously such a saturated market, like I think that it can be very easy to kind of just be like, "I believe in my music." But it's not, I feel like it's not getting anywhere. And it's very easy to go into the negative of it. So I think when you have performances and people are like, oh my God, like that was really good. You should like, you were made to do this. You should really keep pushing in the music. It's just a nice little reminder that, yeah, this is like what I was supposed to do. It's not really advice, but it's
Just
just kind of,
validation that you're on the right
yeah,
path. You know that
yeah,
you
definitely.
need to keep going with this. No, I hear it.
Yeah.
It's needed, especially how hard this industry is. Having
Yeah, exactly.
can really just spur you on that little bit extra.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one thing you wish musicians knew more about making in this industry? Because a lot of people they see the glitz, the glamour, the big shows, music being released, and oh, this is so fun. I feel like it's rare for them to see the other side of things. So
Yeah.
yeah, what would you say?
Um, I mean, I think especially for up and coming artists, it would be great to know more stories of how certain artists today got from where they originally were to where they are now. I think a lot of the time it can be like, oh, that just like happened overnight and all of a sudden they just blew up and they were signed to here and they was doing this and that. And I think sometimes it's like, or at least for me, I'm like, what steps did they take to get to that point?
Mm.
Because like, yes, you can obviously like kind of blow up overnight, but that's still got to be consistent for those, deals and things like that to happen. Um, I think there are a few things that like I've come across recently where it's like you see like Benson Boone, for example. Like when I first came across him, I was like, wow, he's just suddenly blown up. Like how's he done this? And then when you kind of go back and you see, oh, he was on American Idol, he done this, he done that, you're like, well, there's kind of his steps that he took to get there. And I think, yeah, sometimes it's just like, it's nice to kind of know people's story on how they actually got to that point, not just like, oh yeah, I worked really hard and I got here. Do you know what I mean? Like it's,
People just see that snapshot, don't they? And you see it,
yeah,
Charlie XCX, who's been doing this for 20 years, and she's just blown up, in her
yeah,
30s. Or lowly young people like, oh my God, Messi came out, she was overnight success. And actually,
yeah,
exactly like you said, you see their story. She'd been doing
exactly, yeah,
for years and years since, really young teenager. So,
yeah.
yeah, really interesting. Right, my last question I want to finish up on, and it does catch some people out, so we'll see.
Okay.
I asked if you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what would you ask?
Oh, to one question. Oh, this is a tricky one. The total truth. Um, hmm. Do you know what? Like that's so hard because I'm trying to think of like things that I'd want to know, but then I think because in my head I was like one question like if you could like ask the universe, like am I gonna make it? Like is am I gonna be successful? I feel like if someone turned around to you and was like yes, like in 5 years you've made it. I feel like that the journey to get there is then just so different. Do you know what I mean? I feel like you wouldn't necessarily enjoy that process of like the anticipation as well. So I feel like that's
enjoying that process, enjoying that, you know, sometimes the best times are the times of struggle, you know, and
yeah. So I feel like that would be like a really boring one. Um,
it stumped every single guess we've had.
yeah. Honestly, it's such a tricky one because you almost expect like you start to think like, okay, what's something music related like, but it could be anything. Um, oh man, this is tricky. I think I'd just go for something like uh okay, I'd want to know like for 100%. Oh, I feel like it's so boring. I'm just gonna go for something like 100% to like aliens exist and like can we see like physical proof like did aliens come and build Stonehenge? That's what I want to know because like no one actually knows how they got put there. You know, like for the time that they got put up, that was kind of physically impossible. I mean, I feel like the question is already answered. Like they must have done, but I want to know that for a fact.
I like no, I like it. And if you're listening to that happen, I dare you to try and come up with something better than that because I would
Honestly,
right. Well,
honestly.
thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
The lovely listeners at home that come in and tune in every week, go check out music. The band's incredible. If you're in London or around the area at the time, go and see the gig. And remember, great music deserves great conversation, and this is no exception. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next
Thank you.
time.